Most wanted Mexican drug cartel leader killed by military. Mexican drug lord Nemesio Oseguera, commonly known as El Mencho, has been killed in a military raid, Mexican officials have said, as the country's government has been ramping up pressure on cartels after U.S. intervention threats. Mexico's defense ministry said a shootout in the western state of Jalisco left Oseguera seriously injured, and he died during an air transfer to Mexico City. Several other members of the Oseguera's CJNG cartel were killed in the operation. The ministry noted that U.S. authorities had provided complementary information. The operation set off a wave of violence, with torched cars and gunmen blocking highways in more than half a dozen states. An ex-police officer, Oseguera was the leader of the powerful Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, an outfit named for the western state that is home to one of Mexico's biggest cities, Guadalajara. He had a $15 million bounty on his head. Over a relatively short period of time, the CJNG morphed into an international criminal enterprise, rivaling former allies in the Sinaloa cartel, the gang of captured kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, now in a U.S. prison. The military operation against Oseguera follows a pressure campaign from the Trump administration on Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum's government to ramp up its crackdown on drug trafficking, including U.S. threats to intervene directly in Mexico. Ms. Sheinbaum said activities had returned to normality in most areas following the military operation. "We must remain informed and calm," she said in a post on X, adding that she was working in coordination with all state governments. Oseguera is one of the biggest drug suspects to be taken down since the capture of the founders of the Sinaloa cartel, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman and Ismael Zambada. U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau said Oseguera's killing was a great development for the U.S. and Mexico, as well as the rest of Latin America. The kingpin's killing notches a major victory for Mexico's war on drug cartels that are responsible for smuggling billions of dollars in cocaine and fentanyl into the U.S. It is also expected to unleash a wave of violence across Mexico. "A tremendous amount of violence is going to happen," said Vonda Felbab Brown, an expert on international organized crime. Apart from the heads of the Sinaloa cartel, El Mencho has been the biggest prize for many, many years. A new U.S. military-led task force specializing in intelligence collection on drug cartels played a role in the Mexican military raid, a U.S. defense official said. The Joint Interagency Task Force, Counter Cartel, which involves multiple U.S. government agencies, was quietly launched late last year with the goal of mapping out networks of drug cartel members on both sides of the U.S.-Mexico border, U.S. officials said. The U.S. official, who spoke on condition of anonymity, did not offer further details on any information that the U.S. military-led task force may have offered Mexican authorities. The official stressed the raid itself was a Mexican military operation. Jalisco Governor Pablo Lemus Navarro urged residents to stay home until the situation was brought under control, and the U.S. Embassy advised its citizens to shelter in place. Videos on social media showed cars ablaze, sending dark smoke into the sky on roads in Jalisco. Mexican media outlets reported burning vehicles and gunmen blocking highways in more than half a dozen states across the country, particularly in the north and west. Air Canada said it temporarily suspended operations in Jalisco's Puerto Vallarta on the Pacific coast, a popular beach resort for Canadians and Americans. United Airlines and American Airlines said they have canceled flight operations to Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara. United Airlines flight operations to PVR are canceled, the carrier said in an emailed statement to Reuters. American Airlines said it has canceled flights to and from Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara for the remainder of the day. Earlier, people with guns set cars and trucks on fire in the western state of Jalisco, blocking several roads in response to a security operation taking place in the region. This technique is used to thwart police trying to move in on a high-value target. The violence spread to the neighboring state of Michoacán, where Oseguera's cartel also has a presence. His cartel was formed in 2009 and became one of Mexico's most violent drug trafficking organizations, according to the U.S. Justice Department. U.S. officials formally classified it as a terrorist organization and accused the cartel of sending cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and fentanyl from Mexico across the border into the United States. Mexican drug cartels target journalists. In a hostile and violent climate, threats against the media are on the rise in Mexico. In 2020, there were 692 attacks on reporters, 13.6% more than a year earlier, and 6 people were killed. According to international watchdogs, Mexico is one of the most dangerous countries in the world for journalists. In 2025 alone, about 20 journalists and media workers were killed in Mexico. Cayetano de Jesus Guerrero, January 17, 2025, shot dead in Teoloyucan, State of Mexico. He was Deputy Director of Global Mexico and under state protection. Alejandro Gallegos de León, January 2025, Director of La Voz del Pueblo, murdered in the state of Mexico. Jesus Alberto Camacho Rodriguez, February 20, 2025, killed in an attack. Christian Uriel Martinez Zavala, March 2, 2025, reporter for El Silauense.mx, shot in Silao, Guanajuato. Raul Iran Villarreal Belmont, March 14, 2025. Investigative journalist and founder of Observatorio Ciudadano, abducted and killed in Guanajuato. Jose Carlos Gonzalez Herrera, May 15, 2025. Director of El Guerrero Opinión Ciudadana, shot in Acapulco. Salomón Ordóñez Miranda, June 23, 2025. Freelance journalist/photographer for Shalom Quetzalan Producciones, shot in Quetzalan. Ángel Sevilla, July 7, 2025, murdered. Melvin Garcia, July 7, 2025, murdered. Ronald Paz Pedro, July 9, 2025, murdered. Miguel Ángel Beltrán, October 25, 2025, found dead in Durango after covering drug cartels. Mexican media live under constant threat. The latest episode took place last Monday. A group of armed members of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, a drug organization, stood in front of a camera, displayed their power, and issued death threats against 3 national media companies: the El Universal newspaper, the Televisa broadcaster, and the Milenio Daily, in a video that quickly spread on social media, mentioning journalist Azucena Uresti. The masked leader of the gang spoke about how his criminal organization was represented by these media outlets. He felt that what he was saying did not reflect reality. He demanded fair coverage, holding an assault rifle in his hand. Finally, on January 8, 2026, Mexican journalist Carlos Leonardo Ramirez Castro was shot and killed in a restaurant owned by his family in Poza Rica, Veracruz State. The 26-year-old reported on local organized crime for Código Norte Veracruz, where he was the director, and other local media outlets. Nancy Guthrie, the mother of NBC reporter Savannah Guthrie, who was kidnapped on January 31, 2026, is also believed to be part of the drug cartel.